JBN, we keep you informed. I'm Michelle Jones. Hi guys, please remember to like, subscribe and share. Gunmen killed 3 more cousins in Roehampton, St. James. 2 days after a double murder, the community of Roehampton in St. James was hit with a triple killing on Friday night. Last night's fatal shooting happened at a shop in the same yard where 2 men were gunned down on Wednesday night. All 5 deceased men are cousins. In last night's incident, it is reported that about 9:30, people at the shop, which is located in an area of the community called Gaza, when armed men came up and opened fire. When the shooting subsided, 3 people were hit. They have since been identified as 38-year-old Conroy Lawrence, otherwise called Beanie, shopkeeper Siobhan Gordon, otherwise called Kong, and the 50-year-old Carlisle Morris, otherwise called Shooter. Following the shooting, they were taken to hospital, where Lawrence and Gordon were pronounced dead and Anderson was admitted in serious condition. He later died while being treated. On Wednesday night, 20-year-old Tavar Doman and the 23-year-old Linston Anderson were at home when heavily armed men forced their way inside the house and opened fire, hitting them multiple times. The police were summoned, and upon their arrival, Doman and Anderson were discovered suffering from gunshot wounds. They were rushed to hospital, where they were pronounced dead. Triple murder in Frankfield, Clarendon. 3 men were gunned down in Grantham District, Frankfield, Clarendon on Friday night. The deceased have been identified as 42-year-old Kelvin Anderson, a truck operator of Grantham District, 56-year-old Delroy Facey, a farmer of Belmont District in Frankfield, and Cecil Ricketts. The Frankfield police report that about 9:30 p.m., the men were at a shop in the community having drinks when a vehicle drove up. Men exited the car and opened gunfire, hitting all 3, killing them on the spot. The Frankfield police were called to the scene. St. Ann police following strong leads in 90-year-old's murder. The St. Ann police said they are following strong leads into Thursday's fatal shooting of a 90-year-old retiree in Brownstown, St. Ann. Senior Superintendent Dwight Powell, head of the St. Ann Police, said retired Public Health Inspector Kenneth Downer was killed at his home in Huntley District in Brownstown despite cooperating with an intruder who demanded money. Mr. Downer was at home with his helper about 4:30 p.m. when a man with a firearm entered through an open front door. The intruder demanded money. It's reported that when the helper went on a adjoining room to search for some cash, she heard a loud explosion. When she returned, she saw Mr. Downer lying on the floor in a pool of blood. SSP Powell said the area is not known for criminal activity. This incident, though remote, may stem from an attempted home invasion or robbery situation, so we're using the opportunity to appeal to the residents who may have information that can help us to bring resolution to this matter, he urged. Illegal guns and ammo seized in St. Catherine and St. James. 1 man is now in custody following the seizure of a gun in Fraser's Content, Spanish Town, St. Catherine on Friday. Reports from the Spanish Town police are that during an operation about midday, 1.45 pistol with a magazine was seized. The identity of the man is being withheld, pending formal charges being laid. Investigations continue. Over in St. James, cops assigned to the Mount Salem police station seized a prohibited weapon during an operation in Jungle District, Mount Salem. The police report that about 1:30 p.m., lawmen were responding to a fire in the area when an abandoned building was searched. According to the police, 1 Browning single-action pistol and 14 5.56 rounds of ammunition were found on top of the building. No one is arrested in relation to the seizure. Investigation continues. Gun allegedly found in Fisherman's bedhead in Raytown. A fisherman has been charged with breaches of the Firearms Prohibition, Restriction and Regulation Act following the alleged seizure of a weapon and the several rounds of ammunition at his home on Friday. Charged with possession of prohibited weapon and unauthorized possession of ammunition is 34-year-old Marvin Williams of William Street in Raytown, Kingston 16. Reports are that a joint police-military operation was conducted in the area, during which 1 Taurus 9mm pistol with 2 magazines containing 24 rounds of ammunition was found wrapped in a chamois and placed at the back of a bed's headboard in Williams' home. Williams was subsequently arrested and charged, and a court date for him is being arranged. Police clear up 2021 Manchester murder robbery case after alleged killer shot dead. A 2021 Manchester murder robbery case was cleared up posthumously on Tuesday after it was discovered that the accused killer had been cut down by gunmen last February. The accused killer, Aldo Chuckman Scott, 35, from Mayday in the parish, was pointed out as the triggerman in the killing of Richard Powell, 35, from Comfort Hall, also in the parish. The incident occurred about 8:10 p.m. on July 12, 2021 in Chantilly district in Manchester. It was reported that Powell, who had sold a car and had $700,000 in his possession, was walking with his girlfriend through a shortcut. They were accosted by a gunman who robbed Powell of a bag containing the cash and shot him several times. The gunman fled and Powell was assisted to the Mandeville Regional Hospital, where he was pronounced dead at 8:50 p.m. An autopsy conducted on August 11, 2021, concluded that the cause of death was multiple gunshot wounds. Police investigations were ongoing, but no one was held. Scott was shot dead by gunmen about 1:15 a.m. on Monday, February 13, 2023, in Old England, Manchester. Based on further investigations into Powell's killing, witness statement, and photo identification, Scott was pointed out as the triggerman. After consultation with the Divisional Detective Inspector and Crime Officer, the matter was cleared posthumously. Pregnant woman accused of ordering deadly Portland shooting remanded. Jody Ann Jackson, the 28-year-old woman accused of hiring a contract killer to carry out a deadly attack in Port Antonio, Portland on Labor Day, was remanded Friday when she appeared in the Portland Parish Court. Jackson, who was charged with 2 counts of murder and shooting earlier this week, is to return to court on June 13. Shade Pink, 28, of Campbell Avenue, and 23-year-old Keno James of Johnstone District were shot dead at a gathering on May 23. It's reported that the victims were among a group of people playing dominoes on Campbell Avenue in Port Antonio shortly after 11 p.m. when a car drove up. A man alighted and opened fire on Pink, who was intended target. James was also wounded. Both were later pronounced at hospital. Investigators say Pink, who was in an advanced state of pregnancy, was targeted as part of a love triangle. Investigators further allege that Jackson, who is also pregnant, drove the hired killer to the scene and pointed out Pink. The getaway vehicle was later seized in St. Mary. Fires leave 8 homeless in St. James. A second house fire in as many days has left residents of Crawford Street in Mount Salem, St. James, worried that things may get worse. In total, 8 people, including 3 children, have been left homeless after fire partially gutted 2 structures in close proximity to each other. On Friday, a split-level building was partially destroyed, leaving 2 adults and a child homeless. There were no reported injuries, but there was talk among some onlookers that the fire had been deliberately set. This claim has not been confirmed. According to firefighters, about 12:20 p.m. they received a call that a house was on fire. They responded with 2 units on the Barney Street Fire Station and managed to extinguish the blaze, preventing the house from being totally destroyed. During a visit to the area, neighbors spoke little and none on the record. A few had bags packed, are apparently getting ready to leave the area. One resident theorized that the fires are an attempt to rid the community of some individuals by burning them out. Friday's blaze came just hours after a neighboring dwelling went up in flames. It was allegedly torched by arsonists early Thursday morning, about 5:20. In that incident, 3 adults and 2 children were left homeless. There were no injuries reported. On Friday, the air in the community was thick with tension, residents clearly on edge. It looked like some have to find somewhere else to sleep tonight because I don't know if my place might be the next target, said one man. Councillor Kerry Thomas, in whose Mount Salem division the community falls, said the fires that fueled fear already been experienced after recent murders. It's having a similar impact. It's just an escalation of one thing added to the next, so the tension is extremely high. I haven't got the full details of exactly what is happening now, but whatever is happening, it's not good, and the residents are extremely fearful of what is going to happen next, he said. He noted that the bloodletting and alleged arson attacks are happening despite the area being declared a zone of special operations, ZOZO. The government declares an area a ZOZO if there are reasonable grounds to believe that there is rampant criminality, gang warfare, escalating violence and murder, and the threat to the rule of law and public order. Man killed in gun attack at Westmoreland hairdresser shop. A man was shot dead during a brazen attack at a hairdresser shop in Revival District in Westmoreland Saturday morning. The deceased has been identified as Armani Clayton, otherwise called Yu Chang, a mechanic from Little Bay District in Westmoreland. It was reported that around 11:20 a.m., Clayton attended the hairdresser shop and decided to wait as the hairdresser he wanted to see was busy. Police said that after waiting approximately 10 minutes, loud explosions were heard. Shortly afterwards, checks were made, and Clayton was seen motionless, lying face down in the hairdresser shop in a pool of blood. The police were alerted and on arrival found Clayton suffering from what appeared to be gunshot wounds to both hands and upper body. Police said several 9mm spent casings were observed on the scene. No motive has yet been established for the killing, the police said. 17-year-old among two charged for receiving stolen bike. A 17-year-old boy was among two people who were hauled to the Kingston and St. Andrew Parish Court after being charged for receiving a stolen bike. The allegations are that on May 7, the teenager was seen driving a white 2020 Yanging motorcycle on Shortwood Road with no registration plate affixed. It was intercepted by police, the court was told. Further checks revealed that the motorcycle was stolen. The prosecutor told Senior Parish Judge Lauren Cole Montague that the teenager led the police to Jaheim Pratt's house. Upon seeing the police, Pratt allegedly ran and was quickly accosted. After being cautioned by the police, Pratt allegedly said, "Officer, me and CJ make up and buy the bike. Boss, me nah lie." The court was not told who CJ was. Pratt supposedly stated that papers for the motorcycle were available. The court was told that the 17-year-old had asked to borrow the motorcycle to ride because it was his birthday. During his bail application, which was ultimately denied until his defense attorney can provide documents proving that he will be enrolled in a school, it was revealed that the teenager was living with his mother and this is his first run-in with the law. The attorney said her client intends to start the process of enrolling in the Jamaican German Automotive School, JAGAS, but his mother was told he cannot do so until he reaches 18 years. At 17 years old in the eyes of the law, he is still a child, and because he is still a child, this court would like to be satisfied that he will be properly engaged and properly supervised. At 17 years old, he is not enrolled in any school? Is that so? Judge Cole Montague asked, to which the attorney indicated that at present he is not enrolled in any school. Let me see some conditional acceptance so that I know if I'm to exercise my discretion in that way. I would not have a young man left up to his own devices, Judge Cole Montague said as she denied bail. We all know the saying that the devil find work for idle hands. Both the teenager and Pratt were remanded until June 8. JBN will keep you informed. Please guys, remember to like the video, share, subscribe, leave a comment as this helps with the growth of the channel.